First story.
My first DMT experience, detailed with explanations, the takeoff. I began feeling my body vibrate and heard a strange humming. Interpretation. This was likely the early onset, the body and senses starting to dissolve. Many report this carrier wave of vibration and sound as the threshold between physical reality and the DMT realm. Movement and surrender. I remember my hands moving. Veronica later told me they were moving rapidly. I covered my face with my arms and my head dropped, resting in my lap. Interpretation. These movements may have been involuntary, driven by my nervous system as my ego dissolved. Covering my face and bowing may have been a primal form of surrender, like my body knew something my conscious mind didn't. Perceptual collapse. The room fades. The room shifted into an orange hue, and then everything collapsed into a single fading point. Interpretation. This was the breakdown of external perception, my mind retracting from the outside world in preparation for full immersion into the internal or transpersonal space. The black void. I entered a black void. Everything disappeared. I couldn't feel anything, no fear, no peace, just nothing. Interpretation. This was a classic ego death. There was no self to interpret the moment, only pure absence. It was vast nothingness, a rushing stillness where not even awareness seemed to exist. Whispers from the dark. I heard whispers but couldn't understand what they were saying. Interpretation. These whispers are often reported in DMT experiences, alien, ancestral, or subconscious voices. They may represent a deeper part of the psyche or the threshold of communication between dimensions of mind and meaning. The voice within the void. A moment of guilt. At some point during the trip, not upon return, I told Veronica, "You should have told me no." Interpretation. This moment stands out. Even deep in the experience, a fragment of my awareness reached for Veronica. It wasn't logical or planned, it came from some raw, emotional depth. It may have been the only remaining part of me trying to cling to the real world. That plea wasn't about blame. It was a cry for safety, for reassurance, for something to hold on to while everything else was gone. The return reformation of reality. Eventually, everything started to come back together. Awareness reassembled, time restarted. I looked up and saw Veronica. Interpretation. The re-entry phase can feel like being reborn into the world. For me, this was a slow buffering, like my brain and soul had to recalibrate.
Second story. My first DMT experience. What really happened? What does it feel like to completely dissolve? To lose your body, your thoughts, even your sense of self? This is the story of my first DMT experience, step by step, and what I learned from it. The takeoff. It began with an intense vibration moving through my entire body, like every cell was humming. Then came a deep, mechanical tone. Many describe this as the carrier wave, a signal that you're crossing the threshold from ordinary reality into something completely different. Movement and surrender. Veronica, who was sitting with me, later said my hands were moving rapidly. I didn't notice it at the time. I remember covering my face with my arms, bowing my head down into my lap. Looking back, this felt instinctive, as if my body knew to surrender before my mind could. Perceptual collapse. The room shifted into an orange glow, and then everything collapsed into a single fading point. This was when external perception broke down. My awareness stopped reaching outward and turned completely inward, preparing for something far deeper. The black void. Suddenly, there was nothing. No fear, no pace, no me. This is what many describe as ego death, a state where even awareness itself seems to disappear. It felt like rushing stillness, a fast and absolute nothingness. Whispers in the dark. In that emptiness, I heard faint whispers. I couldn't understand them. Many who have had similar experiences report voices like these. Wet. Third story. The DMT waiting room. And the hands in my mind. Firstly, I expect everyone to question this trip report. This is my personal experience. And something happened that I never imagined. something I never even heard of before. The beginning. I was lying in bed, in total darkness. I took 4 deep hits, and suddenly, I landed in a place I've seen before. Waiting room. Strangely, I've visited this waiting room 3 times, but where it takes me is beyond imagination. The waiting room. It's on a dimly lit spaceship. I have no form, no body, no gravity. And yet, there's a small AI robot floating there. It scans me carefully, then tosses glowing pills toward me. They pass right through my formless body, and boom, I'm launched straight into hyperspace. The sacred vision. This trip was different. The scenes were beautiful, full of ancient monuments, pyramids, sacred structures. It felt holy, almost timeless. So far, nothing unusual for DMT. But then, something happened that's only happened once in my life. The hands in my mind. I felt hands, not imagined, physical hands, running through my brain, around it, massaging, rinsing, washing my thoughts away. It felt so good, so sacred, that I said to myself, go for it. Even though a small part of me feared I might wake up brain dead. Hands in my mind, a feeling I can't explain and can't forget. That was my experience. Bizarre, beautiful, and a 4th story, the guide, the jester, and the lessons of I am. During my travels in hyperspace, I built a strange and powerful relationship with a being I called Lucifer. He wasn't evil, he wasn't dark, at least not in the way people imagine. He showed me the wonders and the secrets of the self. He led me through the darkest corners of my being and taught me the most important lessons of my life. The last encounter. 2.5 years ago, during my last deep journey, he wasn't there. It was just, I am. And then, I am. I entered that space with a clear intention, to remember that truth, that I am, in fact, I am. And there, I heard it. I am, told the little I am. No matter how many times you come here and experience yourself as I am, it won't help you unless you start acting on it, in human form. There's nothing new for you here, until you apply it. Since then, I've been living my life, trying to apply that lesson, every single day. The return of the jester. But about 3 months ago, something strange happened. The jester appeared, not as vivid as in hyperspace, maybe 20% visible, but I could see him. Eyes open or closed, he was there. Jumping, spinning, full of excitement, and he kept saying, draw me, draw me. So I did. I sketched him over and over, until he was satisfied. Now, his image is printed in fluorescent ink, on lycra fabric, hanging right behind me in my studio. The presence remains. His presence is still strong, not as visual as it was. 5th story, the DMT riverbank incident. This is one of the strangest experiences I've ever had. It's been 2 years, and I still can't fully explain it. Back in January 2023, I had just gotten out of jail. I met this girl through a mutual friend. Friendly, normal, nothing strange at first. We hung out a few times, totally casual. Then, in November, she asked me to help her run some errands. We spent the entire day driving around. Later that night, I asked if she wanted to try some DMT. She said yes. We drove off-road to a riverbank, pitch black, completely alone. She packed a bowl, but insisted that I take the first hit. I didn't think anything of it, so I inhaled, leaned back, and waited. At first, it was normal visuals, but then, absolute terror. My whole body screamed, "You're about to die." I opened my eyes. She was sitting there, knees together, a makeup bag on her lap, rummaging inside it fast. And she had this strange look, nervous excitement, hesitation. Then, one thought hit me, loud and clear. Do you want to live or die? My body moved before I could think. I vaulted over the center console and wrestled her. It felt like I was grabbing a snake. Then I realized I was choking her, then hugging her, then apologizing over and over. She just looked at me and said, "How did you get on top of me?" Then, "It's okay. I had it coming. It's not your fault." That shook me to my core. We left. I let her drive my truck. Before I dropped her off, she made me pinky promise not to tell anyone. After that night, instead of disappearing, she kept calling me, asking for rides, favors, help. I felt so guilty. I kept saying yes. One night, I drove her to a job, house cleaning, 60 miles away, at 6 p.m. By the time we arrived, it was pitch black. Who cleans houses at night? While I waited at a gas station, I smoked some DMT. The seat she had been sitting in looked pixelated. Not distorted, not warped, just wrong. The next day, at my storage unit, I smoked again. Suddenly, she called. Panic hit me instantly. Time skipped, and suddenly, she was standing outside my truck. Her face looked wrong, like dark veins under her skin. As soon as I stepped out, that same terror slammed into me. I jumped back in, floored it, and crashed my truck, going 90, into a tree. No seatbelt. I should have died, but I didn't. We're still friends. We've never spoken about that night, but there's tension. And sometimes, I wish I'd looked inside that makeup bag. I'll never know what really happened. Maybe it was just the DMT. Maybe it was her. But deep down, I think her intentions weren't in my best interest. Outro. Calm. Intrigued. What do you think really happened that night? Thank you for watching the video. Remember, we do not encourage any type of illegal substance use, and these videos are strictly for entertainment and harm reduction. Please never try anything in these videos.